It was spring and the start of a new semester. A second-year high schooler named Kuroki was in a new class, and it was the first day. As the teacher announced that class was about to begin and asked if everyone had taken their seats, Kuroki noted that the girl sitting next to him was the rumored jirai girl. Jirai was a term used to describe a person who was not who they seemed, and it was usually used to refer to girls. The girl had red eyes, eye bags that made her stand out, skin that looked like a puppet's, strangely red lips, and an expression that always looked like it contained sorrow. All of her traits screamed jirai. Kuroki had only known about her from the rumors and had never interacted with her before. He thought she was really something. Kuroki's friends mentioned that she was pretty cute, though they had heard a lot about her through rumors. They called out to Kuroki, noticing Chihara was there. Kuroki described himself as someone who had never talked with a girl, was bland and dry, and was not stylish. He believed they were way too different from each other. Other classmates gossiped that Chihara really was a jirai, just like how she looked, that she was scary, that she was a menhera, that she made a bunch of restrictions, and that it was bad news if she got a hold of you. That was who Mai Chihara was. She was talked about every day. She seemed to be popular, but at the same time she was known to be dangerous. Kuroki thought that he could not imagine ever interacting with her. Chihara then looked his way, and Kuroki panicked, letting out a startled reaction. He wondered if she did not like him glancing at her. Kuroki then noticed that Chihara was looking at him quite a lot. He wondered if he had looked at her for too long and worried that she might be mad at him even though he did not have any bad intentions. Chihara asked him why he was looking at her. Kuroki did not know what to do about the situation. He thought the gaze of a pretty girl was so powerful and that he would rather run away barefoot than deal with it. He apologized to his mom in his head, calling himself hopeless. Chihara was still staring at him. He decided he should just apologize and called out to her. Chihara was looking straight at him, and Kuroki noticed she was literally facing straight towards his direction. He wondered what he should do, and told himself not to fall back, reminding himself that it was not like she was going to take his life or anything. He called out to Chihara. Chihara was so close to him that Kuroki had almost nowhere to look. He unconsciously looked down and happened to catch sight of her chest, which he called his biggest obstacle. He wondered why things had become like this and what she wanted from him. He thought it must be a prank, that she must be making fun of him, and that maybe this was a new form of bullying. He recalled the warning that it was bad news if she got a hold of you, and wondered if she was getting a hold of him right now. Chihara was still looking at him without blinking. Kuroki panicked, wondering if he was in trouble, and if this was exactly what jirai were like. He wanted to hold someone's hand. He asked himself what the appropriate response to this situation was, then called out to Chihara again. Chihara suddenly leaned in close to him and told him to let her see his textbook. Kuroki handed her his Mathematics 2 textbook and told her she was quite close. Chihara said here and that this was her return gift. Kuroki thanked her, confused. The book she gave him was a Japanese history textbook. He realized that their class was doing trigonometric functions, not Japanese history, and was shocked. Kuroki thought about how to describe the situation. He thought that Chihara seemed like a pretty interesting person. The teacher then called on Kuroki to solve a question, but Kuroki said he did not know the answer since he only knew about the Edo shogunate because he had the wrong textbook. Kuroki noticed that Chihara had fallen asleep next to him with her eyes open and found her sleeping face quite scary. Chihara was staring at Kuroki's wrist. Kuroki noticed her looking, and then Chihara smiled. Some girls in class saw this and were freaked out, saying that Chihara had looked at his wrist and smiled. They asked if Kuroki saw that and said she was bad news. Kuroki was confused, wondering if she had laughed. The girls said that Chihara seemed like she was into blood and stuff, and that she seemed dangerous. They said she was scary and that they were right about her. Kuroki thought that Chihara really did give off that kind of image, and that her appearance matched with that kind of behavior. He thought it was easy to imagine her doing something like that. After class, Kuroki was walking in the hallway when he noticed someone pulling on his sleeve. He turned around and saw Chihara. She called out to him. Chihara held out a long gum candy toward him. Kuroki was surprised, asking what it was. He wondered if she was giving it to him. He called out to Chihara and asked if it was for him. Chihara said nothing in reply. She then ripped open the packaging, paused for a moment, and then took a big bite out of the gum herself. Kuroki was shocked that she ate it. Chihara chewed on it and then extended the rest of the gum toward Kuroki, offering him the remaining piece. Kuroki noted that she was handing it to him. Even though he did not really understand the situation, there was something he was aware of. If he were to take that and eat it, it would be an indirect kiss. He felt gross for thinking about that, to the point where he wanted to run home and cry, but he also thought he should be happy since it would be his first time. Even though he did not understand the situation all that well, he told himself he should not overthink things. He also thought he would feel bad for refusing since she had offered it to him in the first place. Kuroki said, "Oh, sure," and that he would take a bite. Chihara stared at Kuroki as he chewed on the gum. Chihara then began to speak, saying that long ago she often ate gum in boxes that size, and that the gum Kuroki had just eaten had the same flavor. She said it was delicious and nostalgic to her. Chihara went silent for a moment, then let out a laugh. Kuroki thought her laugh was scary. Kuroki told Chihara that he would give her the rest. Chihara stammered, trying to say his name. She called him Kuroki-kun and told him she would see him tomorrow. Kuroki said, "Yeah, see you tomorrow." He thought to himself that she really was a somewhat interesting person. Chihara went home to her room. She clicked open a marker pen and started drawing on something while giggling to herself. She had a new semester wish list written down. The first item was to greet others, which she had crossed off as completed. The second item was to get along with the boy next to her, which she decorated with a happy face and a flower drawing. Kuroki thought that his school life was advancing so rapidly. There were so many things he was still not used to, and it felt unreal. He was afraid of people with a flashy appearance because he felt like they hated him for no reason. But Chihara was more than what met the eye. Chihara arrived and greeted him with a hello. Kuroki noted that she was there. After class, Kuroki was walking through the hallway when he ran into Chihara. She told him that she saw him and was thinking of going home together. She said she had been waiting for him. Kuroki asked what the matter was and noticed she had been waiting in front of the men's restroom, spaced out. He was confused and asked if she wanted to go home with him. Chihara nodded. Kuroki did not understand the situation at first, so his reaction was delayed. After his panicking, he went through various emotions. He was the type to openly express his doubts without consideration for the other person. He asked her why. Chihara wobbled and staggered away without answering. Kuroki yelled for her to hold on and told her to wait up. He caught up to her and asked if she commuted by train. Chihara said yeah. Kuroki said he did too, so they should go to the station together. Chihara was shocked, her mouth hanging open. Kuroki noticed she seemed relieved. Chihara let out a sigh of relief and said they should go. Kuroki thought that maybe Chihara really was not as scary as he thought. As they walked near the station, Kuroki noticed a lot of people riding their bikes there. He asked Chihara if she rode a bike. Chihara said she could not ride bikes. Kuroki got excited and said he could not either and that it was the same for him. He then caught himself, realizing he had accidentally responded as if they were close friends. Chihara tried to hold back her laughter. Kuroki pointed out that Chihara had also said she could not ride one. Chihara kept trying not to laugh. Kuroki and Chihara were walking home together. It was silent between them, and Kuroki panicked because there was no topic to talk about. He thought the silence felt bad and that he should say something. He called out to Chihara. Chihara tried to say something but then glared at him. Kuroki was shocked and wondered what was happening. He thought she was super angry. Kuroki thought his plans had failed and that he was scared now. He was about to apologize when Chihara pointed over in a direction, saying she could see something over there. Kuroki was confused. Chihara said she could see a big cat's butt. Kuroki asked if it was a cat. They walked over and found a newly opened Japanese confectionery store with manju displayed outside. What Chihara had thought were cats piling on top of each other turned out to be manju. Chihara called them like good friends. Kuroki pointed out that they were not actually cats. Kuroki asked if Chihara's eyes were okay, since she was wearing colored contacts. Chihara said there was no prescription on those. Kuroki put on his own glasses, which he used when he could not see the small writing on the blackboard, and confirmed that they were indeed not cats. Chihara then put on Kuroki's glasses. Kuroki's heart was pounding. Chihara seemed anxious as she took them off. She then realized it and thanked him for the glasses. Kuroki started to say she was welcome, but then noticed that Chihara was blushing. He was stunned. Chihara told him to forget what happened and apologized. Kuroki tried to say that he also had trouble seeing at first too, but Chihara was already wobbling away. Kuroki thought to himself that Chihara was pretty cute. Chihara called him an idiot. Kuroki then asked if she liked cats. Chihara told him she had told him to forget about that. Kuroki said she was right. They arrived at the station. Kuroki said he was going to track 4 and told her he would see her at school. Chihara said see you, but then she told him to hold on and wait. She rummaged through her bag and pulled out a pen. Kuroki asked what she was going to use that on. Chihara told him to take out his arm. Kuroki wondered what she was going to do. Chihara drew her chat ID on Kuroki's arm. It read, "Love Katmai." Kuroki was shocked. Chihara explained that it was her chat ID and that she wanted to talk to him outside of school too. Kuroki said yeah and see you, noting to himself that she did like cats after all. Chihara was left standing there, wondering if she had just done that. Kuroki kept repeating to himself that he had gotten Chihara's contact info as he walked through the station and all the way home. When he arrived, he announced he was back and told his mom that he had just gotten Chihara's contact info. His mom congratulated him. Chihara spotted someone in the hallway and said she found them. A blonde girl in a sailor uniform cheerfully called out to Chihara, shouting her name and asking what she was up to. The girl asked if Chihara was free and if she wanted to go to her classroom. The girl was Chinatsu Iwakura, Chihara's friend. Chinatsu told Chihara that her nails were lame and started painting them for her, telling her to hold still. Chinatsu said that black suited Chihara as she thought it would, and that it was super cute. It fit her so well. Chinatsu then told Chihara that her current boyfriend loved her so much. She had been thinking of giving up on dating since she had just broken up with her other one, but asked if her current boyfriend was not just the best. Chihara sat still with itchy cheeks, unable to move. Chinatsu said that her boyfriend did not think she was annoying at all, and that he was so sweet, like super sweet. Chihara told Chinatsu that she loved her too, for always listening to what she had to say. Chinatsu noticed that Chihara was bleeding because she had bit her cheek with her teeth. Chinatsu said there should be no spots left undone on the nails now. Chihara thanked her. Chinatsu asked if she could take a picture of Chihara's nails and said she would send it to her boyfriend, telling him that she had painted them. Chihara said sure. Chinatsu said that her current boyfriend was the best because he was always quick to read her messages. She wanted to show Chihara. She sent the message, and it was immediately read. Chinatsu excitedly pointed out how fast he was and asked if he was not the best. Chihara then told Chinatsu that she wanted to ask her something. Chinatsu asked what it was. Chihara asked why she had sent the message. Chinatsu asked if she meant the message itself and explained that it was because they both wanted to know what the other was up to. She asked Chihara if doing that would make her closer with the other person. Chinatsu went silent for a moment, then smiled and said that was right. She asked if there was someone Chihara wanted to get closer with. Chihara nodded. Chinatsu told Chihara she was cute and to tell her about it. She said she would even pick out some clothes for her, keep painting her nails, and help with makeup too. She told Chihara there was no need to worry. Chihara was reassured and nodded. Chinatsu suggested they go pick out some clothes after school. Chihara said sure. Kuroki was at home that night thinking he might watch a movie until bedtime when he got a notification on his phone. It was a chat message from Chihara. He was shocked that it was from her. The message was an image of a bowl of udon. Kuroki wondered what it was. He decided to respond by typing that for his dinner, he had deep-fried mackerel. He sent the message and was nervous. He got a reply and thought that based on how she responded, it looked like it went well. He found it amusing that someone who was full of mysteries like Chihara ate something as healthy as udon, though he felt rude for thinking that. Chihara, on the other hand, was dazed and happy while looking at her phone, and someone told her to hurry up and take a bath. Kuroki noticed that Chihara was being talked about again, and that she seemed to be the most talked about girl in school. Some classmates were gossiping about her. Kuroki wondered if she was okay, and thought that it made sense because of how she looked, and that it was easy to assume things from her actions. He also noted that she never seemed to mind or deny the rumors, which only made them more exaggerated. Kuroki thought that Chihara was not the type of person to cause trouble and make others worry about her. Chihara was nearby, dazed as usual. Kuroki decided he would follow the gossiping classmates a bit. He told them that he did not think Chihara was as malicious as they thought. The classmates were confused because they had just been talking about how they were confused by seeing Chihara falling off her bike on the way to school while she was apparently practicing riding one. The classmates called out to Kuroki and asked what that was all about and what his relationship with Chihara was. They said it was super rare to hear Kuroki speak up and that it was about Chihara of all things, so they were curious. The classmates asked if Kuroki and Chihara were doing something behind the scenes, imagining the two together. Kuroki blushed and said they went home together, but thought that if he told them that, a weird rumor might spread. He decided he would tell them about the gum she gave him instead. He told them that she gave him a long one. The classmates imagined Chihara handing him a sword and were shocked, asking if it was a long one as in a sword. Kuroki continued that the gum was so good and so nostalgic. The classmates had no idea what he was talking about and said it did not make sense. They said that the two of them obviously were not a match for each other and asked what the hell they were doing. Kuroki explained that they were just classmates who sat next to each other. He was described as a normal introvert who was perfectly ordinary, while Chihara was the rumored jirai girl, Mai Chihara. Kuroki thought that he could not just tell them Chihara could be an airhead sometimes, but that they did not know she gave off both good and bad impressions. Chihara then appeared nearby, happily pointing out that there were 2 cat butts. Kuroki said she liked butts. The classmates were shocked, asking if she liked butts. Kuroki then remembered something funny and started laughing. He told them that one time she wrote on his body with a marker, showing the love katmai still on his arm. He said it was so funny. Chihara then appeared behind him and started writing, "I love cats," on his shirt while laughing. The classmates were completely lost. Kuroki concluded that he thought she was just a funny person. The classmates went silent and decided they better not ask about it anymore. Kuroki did not understand why they were backing off. Kuroki realized that he had not given Chihara something back for the gum she gave him. He thought maybe giving her something back was gross, but he could not just give her nothing in exchange. He had heard that Chihara often went to the classroom next door on her breaks, so he went there to find her. Chinatsu was there and asked if he was looking for someone. Kuroki was startled by her flashy appearance. He asked if Chihara was there. Chinatsu told him that Mai had said her head hurt and went to the infirmary. Kuroki said he understood and thanked her, saying he would see her later. Chinatsu wondered who that was, noting he was acting like a middle schooler. Chihara was in the infirmary with a bump on her head from the bike incident, holding a bag of ice on it. Kuroki was getting his head wound treated. The nurse told him his treatment was done and that he had lost quite a lot of blood, but the wound was not deep, so there was no need to worry. Kuroki thanked her. The nurse added that since it was a head wound, he should go to the hospital if he ever felt anything wrong. Kuroki recalled what had happened. While walking back to the classroom, he bumped shoulders with a judo club member in the hallway. He got flung and was carried to the infirmary. The judo club member apologized to Kuroki, saying he had been careless. Kuroki told him that he should be the one apologizing for spacing out. The judo club member slid Kuroki his phone number and told him to contact him if he needed anything. Kuroki thanked him. A girl with long hair offered to take Kuroki's infirmary card to his next teacher. Kuroki insisted he could do it himself, but she told him his head was still spinning and that he should rest more. Kuroki agreed. Kuroki thought to himself that his next class was math and he wanted to go, but decided he should probably rest some more. He heard the infirmary door rattle and close. He noticed something and looked around. A dark-haired girl was peeking out from behind the curtain. He felt someone's presence and stood up, staring toward the curtain, but saw nothing. He wondered if it was just his imagination and sat back down on the bed. The dark-haired girl was quietly hiding behind the curtain nearby. The girl suddenly appeared right in front of him and asked where he got hurt. Kuroki screamed in surprise. She had scared him. He greeted her and she said hello back. The girl asked what happened to him. Kuroki explained that he just bumped his head and lost a lot of blood, but it was not a big deal. The girl asked if it hurt when he touched it. Kuroki said it did not hurt anymore. The girl lifted her hand and gently stroked the area around his wound. Kuroki froze as she touched him. Kuroki called her Chihara-san and grabbed her hand, asking if she had also come to the infirmary because she did not feel well. Chihara confirmed she had. The door opened and the nurse returned, saying she had talked to his math teacher. Chihara jumped in surprise and hid Kuroki behind the curtain with her. The nurse looked around and wondered if Kuroki had already gone back to the classroom. She thought maybe she had passed him and left. Kuroki was confused about why Chihara was hiding him. Iguchi-sensei was called to the staff room by another teacher. She agreed and left the infirmary. Chihara and Kuroki came out from behind the curtain. Chihara told the nurse that her head hurt and that she had a bump. The nurse was surprised and asked where it was. She touched it, and Chihara winced. The nurse apologized, asking if that had hurt. Chihara flicked the nurse's forehead. The nurse asked in shock if Chihara wanted to hurt her back. Chihara agreed. Chihara stared at Kuroki, and he clenched up. She pulled him by his shirt collar and pushed him down onto the infirmary bed. Kuroki let out a confused sound. Chihara peeked out from behind the curtain, then looked at Kuroki lying on the bed. She told him good night. Kuroki closed the curtain and lay there speechless. Kuroki thought to himself that Chihara had been worried about him, but he was still going through puberty because her scent was still on the pillow and he could not fall asleep. Chihara was at home getting ready for the morning. She brushed her teeth, gargled, and got dressed for school. She called out that she was off to school. Someone at home told her to see her later and asked if she was sure she was not forgetting anything. Chihara said, "Yep." Chihara arrived at the train station. Other students noticed her and looked confused. She heard people whispering around her and looked down, realizing she had brought the wrong shoes. Instead of her normal school shoes, she was wearing a fancy pair with bows, chains, and heart-shaped buckles. She considered going back home to switch shoes, but that would make her late. She imagined her friend Chinatsu telling her she would be fine, so she decided not to worry about it. Chihara arrived at school. A teacher greeted her and then called out to her, telling her to hold on for a minute. Chihara braced herself, preparing to get scolded. The teacher thought to himself that he could not let her walk around wearing something so flashy, but then told Chihara that he understood everything and that there must be a reason behind it. The other students looked confused. The teacher was new, and there was no real reason behind it. It was now 4th period, which was gym class. Chihara opened her locker and found that she had also put in the wrong jersey. The one she had was flashy and decorated. She recalled that it had happened while she was folding laundry and had dozed off, accidentally slipping the wrong jersey into her bag. She imagined Chinatsu again, telling her to stay calm, that she would be all right, and to just be confident even if she thought she had made a mistake or if someone got mad at her. Chihara walked into gym class wearing the flashy jersey and declared that she knew she would be just fine. Her classmates stared at her in shock. It did not really turn out well. Chihara was taken to the staff office, where a teacher told her that they had limits at the school. Chihara had to write an apology letter. It was now lunch break. Chihara checked her phone and saw a message from her dad telling her that she had forgotten her bento. All she had was her pocket money, which was just a few coins. She ended up buying candy snacks with her pocket money. Her classmates whispered about how Chihara was eating candy during lunch, saying it fit her image and was a unique eating habit. Chihara was still hungry. Kuroki approached Chihara and asked if she was only having candy for lunch and if she always did that. Chihara asked if it was really enough. Kuroki asked if there was a reason behind it. He apologized, saying he hoped it was not a misunderstanding, and asked if she wanted some of his food. He said he had 2 onigiri, but it was too much for him. He unwrapped the onigiri and explained that it was leftover chicken rice from last night, that his mom had made it for him, and that he thought it still tasted good even when it was cold. He asked if she did not like onigiri. Chihara said no, she loved it. She happily ate the onigiri Kuroki gave her. Kuroki smiled, and for some reason noticed Chihara's shoes under the desk, thinking that they were really cool looking. Kuroki thought about how when you are alone on the first day of school and become friends with a nice person sitting next to you, you think that person is your only friend, but you are not their only friend. That person is just nice and talks to everyone. When the teacher tells the class to get into pairs, you instantly realize this. During English class, the teacher told everyone to get into pairs and read the text together. Chihara looked over at Kuroki. A dark-haired boy called out to Kuroki. Chihara quietly said Kuroki's name. Other people saw Chihara as looking deadly and intimidating. Kuroki called out to Chihara and nervously suggested that they could be partners. The dark-haired boy told Kuroki he had already gotten the worksheet from the other guys, so everyone was paired up without Kuroki. Kuroki asked Chihara if she was already paired up with someone. Chihara blurted out all in one breath that, no, she was not, and thank you. Kuroki said he was glad. Kuroki was out shopping to buy a cake for his little sister's birthday. His mom wanted cheesecake, his little sister wanted Mont Blanc, and his dad wanted a strawberry tart, so his family all had different tastes. He noticed Chihara nearby, and was surprised to see her outside of school. He immediately backed away, thinking he should not interfere with her private life since she might be meeting up with someone. Chihara suddenly appeared and called out to him, asking if he had some time. A man with a camera approached Chihara, saying he was a cameraman and asking to take some pictures of her. Chihara started posing. The cameraman asked her to stop posing. Kuroki noted that with his budget, he was only able to buy a 100 yen cream puff for himself. He noticed Chihara again and thought she was alone today, so he would just greet her. He started to call out her name, but noticed a small girl crying and calling for her mom. Kuroki asked the little girl where she had last seen her mother. The girl said at the bookstore. Chihara wanted to help the lost child, but she knew her eyes made kids cry and it had happened many times before. Kuroki told the girl they were in a commercial district, so her mom must be nearby. The little girl calmed down and ate a cream puff. She noticed Chihara and said it was Lovely Warrior. Chihara confirmed she was Lovely Warrior. The girl said she meant Chihara's mask, because Lovely Warrior's hair was actually pink, so she was definitely not her. Chihara said she was just an average fan. They found the girl's mother at a nearby store, and the little girl thanked them. Kuroki wondered if Chihara had been watching the entire time, and guessed she came to help him. He pointed out that there was a police station right over there. He thanked Chihara, saying he did not know how to deal with that situation himself. Chihara said she felt like she was not that reliable. Kuroki told her that yes, she was. Chihara looked surprised, holding the little girl who had taken to her. Kuroki asked how her day was. Chihara said she went to a cat cafe. It was lunchtime. Kuroki noticed Chihara sitting at her desk with a bento. He thought it was rare for her to remain in the classroom during lunch, since last time she was only eating candy. He had never seen her take out her bento before. She was always alone whenever Chinatsu was absent. Kuroki invited her to eat lunch together for the first time. They went up to the terrace on the rooftop. Chihara explained that she did not want to be given weird looks. Kuroki told her he was not that good at inviting people to do things and had few friends, so he was really glad when Chihara talked to him after they met. Chihara said that was why she thought she should return the favor. She accidentally dropped her chopsticks, which flew off the terrace. Chihara announced she was going to eat with her hands now. Kuroki offered to let her use his chopsticks since he had not used them yet. Chihara said he could give them back when she was done and suggested they take turns eating. Kuroki realized that would be like an indirect kiss and wondered if it was really okay. He thought about flipping the chopsticks over but worried it might hurt her feelings. Chihara told Kuroki he was so bad at this. She stared at his bento and started eating from it. Chihara was imagining a best friend scenario where she took his croquette and deep-fried chicken. She said she messed up, meaning communication-wise. Chihara told Kuroki to eat up and poked at her bento. Kuroki noticed there was a lot of brown food. Chihara offered him a tamagoyaki. He tasted it and noticed it was sweet. He explained that his mother put sugar, milk, and mayonnaise in hers, making the Kuroki family's tamagoyaki sweet and fluffy. Chihara's was probably dashi tamagoyaki. She wondered how his father made it. Kuroki was surprised and asked if her father made her bento too. Chihara said when her dad was in a good mood, he made omurish, but the bento was always small. Kuroki said that was awesome. Chihara asked if he wanted to try it at her place. Kuroki froze and thought to himself about going to her house.
He panicked internally, thinking that he did not have the right to carefreely enter her house like that he was getting nervous just by thinking about it, and that he needed to have more confidence so he did not want to refuse her offer. He then shouted that actually he did not want to. Chihara was shocked. Kuroki quickly apologized and said that was not what he meant, and that he messed up. After class, Chihara went to a coffee shop called Genki, which was her father's shop.
She told her father that she wanted to eat his omurish. It was 7 a.m. Chinatsu arrived at Mai's house and announced that she came to play with her. Mai was still drowsy. Chinatsu corrected herself, saying it was more like she came to use Mai to play. Today, Chinatsu was going to make Mai wear clothes and do her makeup. They regularly met up like this and went all out. Chinatsu offered Mai an energy drink, saying it was because she was late to the party, even though Chinatsu was the one who was actually late. Mai looked at Chinatsu with an intense expression and told her to wait while she brushed her teeth and washed her face. Chinatsu was startled. After preparing, Chinatsu applied a face mask on Mai and told her to leave it on for 15 minutes. She went through her suitcase of clothes, telling Mai to stay still like a mannequin. She could not decide what to make Mai wear first. She held up 2 outfits and asked which was better. Mai said both looked nice. Chinatsu picked the more intense one herself. Chinatsu told Mai to take off her face mask. Mai's skin looked sparkly. Chinatsu added accessories and heated up the curling iron for a full makeup session. When she finished the first look, she exclaimed that Mai was so cute, had such big eyes, and looked like a soft porcelain doll. In the second look, Chinatsu said Mai looked like a doll's descendant and wanted to see what her parents looked like. In the third look, she said Mai's cuteness was out of this world. For the finale, Chinatsu screamed that Mai was so cute. Mai was taken aback. Chinatsu said that was so fun. She admitted she got so excited that she felt like she lost control of herself, but it was fine since Mai was cute. Chinatsu said it was a shame that if it was not for the typhoon, they could have hung out outside like they always did. She said she wanted everyone to know that they were friends. They went out together regardless, and some classmates spotted them. The classmates said Mai looked more impressive than cute, and that it was like what you would see on a magazine cover. Chinatsu told Mai they should do this again, and that she would put in more effort next time. Mai suggested doing it sometime after noon next time. Some classmates were whispering about Chihara, saying she felt just like a doll, that when they touched her she felt cold, and that her body temperature was probably low. Kuroki overheard them. He was feeling cold that day himself. The wind from the window was freezing and he wished he had worn a sweater. Chihara walked over and shut the window. Kuroki was grateful she closed it for him. The chime rang. Chihara called out to Kuroki. He was startled. Chihara grabbed him and pulled him close. Kuroki stammered. Chihara held him, and Kuroki noticed she felt warm. Other classmates started watching and wondered if they were going to kiss. Kuroki told Chihara that people were watching. Chihara gasped. She told him he seemed cold. Kuroki was surprised she had noticed. Chihara grabbed him again. Kuroki said he had a blanket and could not accept it. Chihara said it was a gift she did not use. She told Kuroki with a sharp look that he was going to catch a cold if he did not take it. The teacher announced class was about to start and told everyone to take their seats. He asked whoever was near the window to close it. Kuroki was now wrapped in Chihara's blanket, which had a cat pattern on it. Chihara told Kuroki he looked pretty cute today. Kuroki said he was grateful for the compliment, but that it was super embarrassing. Chihara looked satisfied. Kuroki was tired after the week. Chihara crept up behind him and told him it was time to go home. Recently, Chihara had been waiting for him after school. Sometimes she went home with another friend, but that friend was busy and had a lot of other friends, so Chihara could not always go with her. Kuroki thought that even if he was just a plan B, it felt weird for her to be choosing him. Chihara reached out to touch him. She said she was just wondering if he was hungry. Kuroki asked how she could tell just by touching him and said anyone would get hungry after class. Chihara asked if they should go. Kuroki imagined someone as flashy as Chihara having a fancy tea break after school, but in reality, Chihara brought a 100-yen coin to the convenience store and picked something from the snack shelf. Kuroki thought she was like an elementary schooler who immediately spent their pocket money. Chihara stared at the convenience store chicken and said she had never had it before. She said she would never eat meat like that by herself, but since she was with a friend, she felt like eating it. They sat outside and ate. Chihara took a big bite of the chicken. She got oil on her face and licked it off. Kuroki's heart pounded. She was just eating chicken, but he thought she looked cute. Chihara asked if he had any napkins. Kuroki checked and found one. Chihara called his name and held out her face. Kuroki realized she wanted him to wipe it for her. He panicked, thinking that even if it was for his little sister, mother, father, grandfather, grandmother, or next-door neighbor, it would still be too embarrassing. He wiped her face anyway. Chihara told him he could rub it more. Kuroki stammered that he could not. He asked if it looked okay now. Chihara said yeah, probably. Kuroki wondered why she seemed kind of happy about it. Chihara suggested that it would be better for him to have wiped her face after she was finished eating. Kuroki took another bite and was confused. Chihara asked if he understood what she was saying. Kuroki was at a bookstore looking through the magazine section and found the latest release of a romantic manga. Chihara crept up behind him and asked if he liked that manga. Kuroki was startled and explained that his little sister wanted him to get something for her. He asked what Chihara came to do. After a moment of silence, she held up volume 3 of a manga about building castles. Kuroki noted she was the type to buy all the volumes. Kuroki asked what kind of manga it was. Chihara explained it was a chaotic story about a female main character aiming to become a top idol, involving fighting, working, and love. Kuroki said he had already read part of it, and it was pretty interesting. Chihara said she wanted to read it too. Kuroki pointed out it was for elementary schoolers, but Chihara asked if he was not reading it too. He said he just read anything. Kuroki thought it might actually be appropriate for her and offered to let her read it first, since his sister was probably bombarded with homework. Chihara thanked him happily. Kuroki blushed, thinking they were lending and borrowing manga. Chihara imagined it was like they were really close friends. Kuroki rustled through his bag and told Chihara she could have the castle manga. Chihara thanked him. They walked home and parted ways. Kuroki's little sister greeted him at the door and excitedly asked if he got the manga. She noticed it was Chihara's castle manga instead of what she wanted and collapsed on the floor in shock. Kuroki had given Chihara the wrong manga. At Chihara's house, her father welcomed her home. She was dancing happily. Her father noticed the manga and asked what it was. It was the Star Idol manga. He asked if he could read it later. Chihara refused. Mai's father called her over at Chihara's house, which was next to coffee shop Genki. He asked her to take some fruit to their neighbor Matsumoto-san in exchange for the vegetables she had recently brought them. Mai agreed. Her father told her she could take one too. He then asked if she had heard what Matsumoto-san did. Mai learned that Matsumoto-san had gotten a cat. Mai was wearing her middle school jersey and went to a pet store to look at cat toys. She stopped in front of a display that said "Fun for Cats." Mai arrived at Matsumoto-san's house. Matsumoto-san greeted her warmly, saying the kitty was there. Mai handed over the fruit and explained it was for the vegetables from earlier. Matsumoto-san thanked her and said she did not have to. Matsumoto-san told Mai to wait and that she would bring tea and sweets. Mai thanked her and sat down. While Matsumoto-san was away, Mai looked around for the cat. She spotted a white cat staring at her. She tried to approach it, but the cat got scared and backed away. She threw a cat toy toward it, but the cat was still scared. She got closer, and the white cat looked frightened. Mai picked up a gray toy mouse and held it near the white cat. The cat finally got close to her. The two stared at each other face to face. Mai started unzipping her hoodie. Matsumoto-san came back with tea and sweets and exclaimed when she saw Mai. Mai had put the cat inside her hoodie and zipped it back up. Matsumoto-san said they got along well. Mai agreed. Matsumoto-san said she had just gotten the cat yesterday, but it was very docile. Mai said it was cute and warm. Matsumoto-san mentioned that she had not given it a name yet and asked Mai if she had any cute names by chance. Mai rustled the cat and stared at it. At school, Chihara was humming happily. Kuroki nervously greeted her with good morning. Chihara greeted him back. Kuroki asked if something good had happened. Chihara got close to him and showed him a photo on her phone. She told him that her neighbor next door had recently gotten a cat. Kuroki said it was a cute white cat and asked what its name was. Chihara said the cat's name was Kuro. Kuroki asked why. Chainatsu remarked that Mai's class was pretty lively and that everyone was in high spirits. Mai nodded. A boy shouted that he had bought something. Mai wondered if something was going to happen. Chainatsu mentioned that it had been kind of a trend lately. The trend was called Russian cream, and Mai looked confused. Mai asked Chainatsu if she had done it before. Chainatsu said no, and that she actually wanted to enjoy her cream puffs. She explained that in Russian cream, you take a cream puff and fill it with mustard, wasabi, Tabasco sauce, and similar stuff. Chainatsu added that if she ended up joining in, she would be really happy if her crush ate the altered one instead of her. Mai asked if that would really make her happy. Chainatsu said that if her crush was not there at the time, she would just eat it by herself, though. She waved goodbye, saying she was going to prepare for her next class. Mai thought that Chainatsu found the idea fun, but was afraid of her mouth hurting. Two boys from Mai's class approached Kuroki and asked if she wanted to do Russian cream puffs with them. One of the boys explained that the altered cream puff had mustard, wasabi, and Tabasco sauce in it, and that there were only two left, with one of them being altered. Kuroki agreed. One boy said he kind of wanted to see Kuroki in pain, while the other said they might get lucky. Kuroki asked just to make sure if they were not trying to troll her. The boys insisted they were just curious and asked her to believe them. Kuroki said she would take one piece and stepped forward. Chihara was surprised. Kuroki took a cream puff and immediately stuffed it into her mouth. Everyone was shocked. She chewed it, looked confused for a moment, then said it was not spicy and did not hurt. The boys sighed in relief. Chihara then realized that the remaining cream puff was the altered one. She picked it up in shock and asked Kuroki if she was okay. Kuroki explained that she did not think anyone would want to eat the altered one, so she did not want to waste it. She said it just tasted like custard mixed with wasabi, mustard, and Tabasco sauce, and that it did not taste good, but she was fine. The entire class started apologizing, saying sorry for trying to pull a trick on her and sorry for not reading the atmosphere. Kuroki jumped toward Chihara and asked if she was hurt. Chihara said it did not hurt. The boys in the background whispered among themselves, wondering if the two were going to kiss. Kuroki smiled and said she was glad. Chihara told Kuroki she had a little bit of sauce on her right hand. Kuroki noticed it and reacted by opening her mouth wide with a strange expression. Chihara was startled by the reaction. On his day off, Kuroki wondered what he should eat. He mentioned that he came to the district a lot, but had never checked out the restaurants in the alley. He spotted a Chinese-style restaurant that looked open and decided to take a look. The menu outside listed Chinese food like gyoza and fried rice for 380 yen. Inside, the restaurant was quite empty at first. A group of people then came in all of a sudden. Kuroki noticed they were all talking to each other and wondered if they all knew each other. He overheard people thanking each other for what they had done on SNS and saying they were glad to meet in person. Kuroki realized they were meeting for the first time and wondered what the chances of an in-person meetup at a Chinese restaurant were. He ordered super spicy mapo tofu and decided he would go home right after eating. Kuroki heard chattering and then someone greeted Chihara. He was shocked and called out her name. Chihara entered the restaurant and everyone welcomed her. Kuroki was confused about why she was there and why everyone was welcoming her. He told himself that it was not like her being in a restaurant was weird, but he could not understand the connection. People were asking Chihara for pictures. His food arrived, but he could not figure out what was happening. Chihara ordered one gyoza. The people around her repeated her order excitedly, also ordering one gyoza each. The group clapped. Kuroki wondered why everyone was saying it with her, and why they were applauding. Chihara started eating and everyone went quiet. Kuroki thought that he had wanted to go straight home after eating, but now he was curious. He felt ashamed for watching without permission, but figured that since he was eating, there should be no suspicion toward him. Chihara's gyoza arrived, and she said itadakimasu. She lifted a gyoza with her chopsticks, took a bite, and started eating happily. Everyone asked Chihara to let them know what she thought. It was her 23rd time exploring a well-known restaurant. Chihara gave a detailed review, stating that the pan-fried gyoza had good balance, did not fall apart, and had just the right amount of meat juice. She said gyoza was perfectly delicious without adding anything, and recommended eating it plain first to really appreciate it. One person was happy to hear Gyoza Pakupaku's review in person. Kuroki was stunned that Chihara was actually speaking, and repeated the name Gyoza Pakupaku in disbelief. He wondered if this was a gyoza fan club, and realized that Chihara was their icon. He never would have imagined this. Chihara had never told him about it, and he had never heard anyone talk about it at school. He thought that if nobody else knew about it, then he guessed he was kind of honored to be the only one who knew. Kuroki caught himself, and wondered what he was thinking. The next day at school, he asked Chihara what her favorite food was. She answered Nihachi soba. A teacher announced that Monday was a holiday, so even if students accidentally came to school, he would not be holding any lectures. Kuroki was excited about the 3-day weekend, and wondered what he would do. He thought about maybe playing some games, and then sleeping. He then thought that maybe it would be more high school-like if he went out to play for one of the days. He started thinking about who he should invite, and Chihara came to mind. He immediately caught himself, sweating, and told himself that they were not that close and wondered what he was thinking. Just before that, Chihara had been staring at Chinatsu. Chinatsu asked if Chihara wanted to invite a friend to play. Chihara nodded, saying she was not used to doing that and did not know what to say, but she wanted to play. Chinatsu told her to just invite them. Chinatsu then paused and asked if the friend was not a girl. Chihara nodded. Chinatsu realized that meant Chihara could not afford to be rejected, but since Mai needed help, she would be there for her. In her imagination, Chinatsu pictured herself and Chihara dressed up together. She told Chihara to come to her place before inviting him to play, and that she would make sure it went well. In the present, Kuroki checked his phone and was confused. Chihara had sent him a message asking him to meet her at the station later, and to please wait for her. Kuroki wondered what she was trying to do. Chihara then rushed off so fast that Kuroki noted she was already gone. Kuroki waited at the station, just as he was told. He thought that he was so excited it was kind of embarrassing to wait like this, and noted that he had been following Chihara's commands a lot. He thought it was really hard to know what Chihara was going to do and what she was thinking, that her appearance was flashy, and that approaching her was scary. Chihara arrived and apologized for the wait. Kuroki was flustered, stammering about what was with her hair and where she planned on going. He told her she looked good, and that she could feel free to finish her plans without him. Kuroki thought that talking with Chihara really did feel like a strange experience. The fact that she was willing to change her hairstyle for him and that she wanted to meet up was kind of nice. He admitted that having these thoughts toward Chihara might be rude. He remembered that it all started from the time he felt afraid of her. Even if that was some kind of misunderstanding, he was glad it happened. He thought that even if this friendship was completely fake, he would be okay with it. Chihara poked Kuroki's cheek and asked if he could hear her. He told her that her nail was scratching him. She apologized. He also apologized for having soft cheeks. He asked if she needed something from him. Chihara told him that she wanted to see him, even on days they did not have school. She asked if he was free on the weekend. Kuroki was stunned. He repeated her question back and could barely form words. He stood there in shock, asking himself what a weekend was. Chihara stared at him. Kuroki wondered if she was serious. On the day of their outing, Kuroki's heart was pounding. He told himself it felt like he was in some kind of alternate reality, and that he should not be so nervous since it was not a date. He noted that before leaving, he had been checking his clothes for hair very carefully. He thought it really felt different meeting Chihara outside rather than at school. He tried to calm down by imagining 5 people showing up to tell him he got pranked. Chihara called out to him and apologized for the wait. Kuroki thought that he had seen Chihara in her casual clothes many times, but this was something else. He stammered and told her he was not waiting long. He told himself it was probably okay since he probably looked like a mere mascot character to other people. He reminded himself that since she had invited him, he had to make sure not to get nervous. He asked how she got there and she said by train. Kuroki noticed Chihara did not seem to have any plans, so he suggested they just walk around, and she nodded. Chinatsu, watching from nearby, said she was right. They walked to a cat cafe called Wild, but it was closed for the day due to a health check on the cats. Kuroki thought that of course this had to happen when they did not plan anything, and joked that perhaps it was punishment from the god of planning. He suggested they go somewhere else. They went to a cinema, but the only seats available were right next to each other. Chihara looked depressed and said they should go somewhere else. Cafes and restaurants were also packed. Kuroki admitted he had underestimated how crowded the weekends were. Chihara suddenly stopped. Kuroki noticed the heel of her shoe had broken while walking. He suggested they find some place to sit, and they went to a park. Chihara told Kuroki to sit on a bench and to please wait for a second. Kuroki noticed she was gone. He spotted Chihara's shoes on the ground and wondered if she was inside the playground equipment. He called out to her. Chihara apologized, saying the day was not fun for him at all and that she had not prepared anything even though she invited him. She said she got depressed and could not even make it back home now. Kuroki told her it was not her fault and that he also did not really do anything that day, but he was glad she wanted to invite him of all people and was still really happy about it. He asked her to please come out. Chihara slid out of the tunnel. Kuroki handed her a bag and explained that he had been thinking about how their tastes were different, so he tried to get a pair of shoes she would like. He added nervously that they were not expensive and she could throw them out if she did not like them. Chihara smiled. Kuroki was relieved and noted that the shoes were health sandals. Chihara said they were nice. Kuroki suggested they get some candied strawberries and go home. Chihara happily agreed. Back at school, Kuroki thought that although the weekend was kind of messy, it was a really good one. During class, he kept glancing at Chihara and she kept glancing at him, both looking giddy. Kuroki wondered why he could not stop thinking about it. He compared the feeling to having a super fun vacation and then not being able to forget about it. He thought it was the first time he had seen Chihara smile like that and wondered if she would ever smile like that for him again. He caught himself and told himself he should not be imagining that kind of stuff. Chihara asked Kuroki to go home together. Kuroki thought that the whole day felt like a dream now that he thought about it. He worried that if he brought it up, Chihara might not even remember. He told himself he did not mind, and that even if it was a dream, it was a really nice one. Chihara then led him to a coffee shop. Kuroki was startled and asked where they were. Chihara said it was her house. She explained that they went home together, and she had invited him to have some tea. Kuroki recalled they had an embarrassing misunderstanding at the coffee shop last time. Chihara explained it was her dad's shop, and basically his hobby, and that since the shop was closed today, he was out. Kuroki thanked her and said it was very relaxing. Chihara told him she would make some coffee. Kuroki was impressed that she ground the beans herself and guessed she learned by watching her dad. The coffee was served and Kuroki said he did not usually drink coffee like this, so he was happy. He smelled it and said it smelled good, though it was actually odorless. He took a sip and had a vision of himself in a field with creatures from another world. He said he could see other worlds. Chihara asked if that meant it was good. Kuroki said he wanted to keep drinking. Chihara said that was good since she made it just using her intuition. Chihara said the coffee was an apology for before. She left the counter and sat down right next to Kuroki, surprising him. She said she wanted to hang out with him again sometime and that she would feel lonely if they just stopped there. Kuroki stammered that if she was okay with someone like him, then of course. He thought to himself that it really was not a dream that they had gotten a little closer. After Kuroki went home, Chihara's dad returned. He noticed the leftover coffee, took a taste, and screamed that it was horrible.